Stephen Shields radio show. Hi, hello, Wisdomers. I'm back. Hope everyone's well today. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. At the moment, I've just finished my morning meditation and did my affirmations. It's 9:06 a.m. while I'm recording this show as well. Please stop by and say hi if you'd like to be on the Stephen Shields radio show, even just to say a quick hello. Always most welcome. Have a chat. Guests are welcome to be on the show as well. It's always good to have different ideas of, what is going on in our industry today, basically. And, I'm all about just showing up and, telling the truth and telling it how it is with, this cancel culture going on at the same time. But as I said, it's all about, overcoming, fear of, I'd say, the fear of cancel culture is out there, by the way. Because it seems to me that if you speak up and want to show your truth about what you believe in and what your heart's true desire is, you are cancelled these days. All right, we'll give you the weather report. 19 degrees right now, feels like 21.1 degrees Celsius. Top of 23 degrees Celsius with a low of 16 degrees Celsius. 5 to 15 millimeter of rain predicted today. Showers possibly. There's a storm. North 4 kilometers an hour wind, 4 kilometers an hour gust, 94% humidity, 0 millimeter rain since 9 a.m. Rain 75% high chance of at least 5 millimeters of rain, 50% medium chance of at least 10 millimeters of rain, 25% low chance of at least 15 millimeters of rain. Sydney, Australia today is cloudy, very high, 95% chance of showers, the chance of a thunderstorm, winds north to northeasterly, 15 to 20 kilometers an hour, tending east to northeasterly, 15 to 25 kilometers an hour in the late morning and early afternoon. Sunrise today was 6:07 a.m. Sunrise, sunset 7:17 p.m. Morning crescent moon phase, new moon 25th of October, the next moon phase 8, very high max UV index, 9 a.m. to 4:10 p.m. sun protection recommended. Tomorrow, showers predicted with sunny, low of 16 degrees Celsius, a top of 22 degrees Celsius. Tuesday, sunny with showers predicted, low of 16 degrees Celsius, a top of 26 degrees Celsius. Wednesday, sunny, partly cloudy, low of 14 degrees Celsius with a top of 27 degrees Celsius. Thursday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 14 degrees Celsius, a top of 26 degrees Celsius. Friday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 13 degrees Celsius with a top of 25 degrees Celsius. Saturday, sunny, partly cloudy, a low of 10 degrees Celsius and a top of 23 degrees Celsius. So we can see that Yeah, this weather is definitely pushing it, with the La Nina season. Not only that, the massive potholes. I was driving last week, and oh my God, you should have seen all these potholes. It was just crazy, like hell. Oh my God, everywhere on the road. This road had so many bends and all these potholes. It was like, how is this possible? These potholes, that. That's what I'm thinking. That is what I am thinking as well. You know, and it's like, is the council going to, fix these potholes? That's what I'm trying to think. Are they going to do their job? Do their job. you know. But we're seeing these days the uh, war on cancel culture and being cancelled. And I think these issues on cancel culture, yeah, they're just got to be. It's just got to stop because it's not cool at all. It's not cool, cancel culture. You know, and that's how I feel with cancel culture these days. I mean, it's all about speaking your mind and speaking the truth, and just saying things how they are on this show, on the Stephen Shields radio show. Because it's something I'm very passionate about, as you can tell. I just don't believe in, having a fair go and getting myself heard, especially as a small content creator. We all start at the bottom before we've got to work our way up to the top. If you didn't know that, we all do, you know, and I mean, that's how it is these days. You know that. That's how it is. You know, I think a lot of things. A bit about my story too. Like, I've had a lot of fear and doubts. I've had my fears and doubts as well in life. I've, had to overcome a lot of, you know, problems too for success as well. And that's how it is. You know, I mean, it's all about producing the best quality content that you can at the end of the day. You know, it's like it was 2 nights ago. I had a dream. I had a dream about a possum, and no, seriously, it's like our dreams can help us find a sign of something, or it's a warning sign. It's like spiritual wise. I saw a turtle yesterday, and it's you think of it like this: if you're seeing certain animals, they must be giving you a spiritual message, I guess. I mean, it's an interesting one. You know, it's an interesting that what animals can tell us that we need to know about. I'm all about creating options and you know finding my niche as well, niching down on what my story has been, and that's what I do. I niche down. I overcome the problem with being cancelled, and I decide that I will keep going in life. I am the one who is going to be the winner. You know that. And when you have the winner's mentality, mindset, that's what's going to help you grow. That's what's going to help you find success in life as well. Now, I certainly believe that I take one day at a time. You know, I take a day at a time. I show up. I work hard, and I keep going. I mean, I guess it's just all about showing up at the end of the day. The more we show up, the better we get. The more consistent you are at your work, the I mean, I truly believe if you really want it bad enough, you can have it. You know, I mean that's just my belief and interpretation. you know. And that's just how I feel at the end of the day. I mean, we all do plateau as content creators. Everyone plateaus. And like sometimes we just need to take a break. We just need to put it down and just, reset and recharge our battery and then start back up again. I mean, that's how it is. We've got to reset ourselves, recharge. I mean, when you have a passion for creating content as a content creator, and you have that drive for that success that you want to get, that's all that matters, I think, at the end of the day. That's all that matters. Uh, you know, I remember it was Wayne Dyer who once said that, a lot of baseball players, it's either a hit, miss, flush. They have a lot of misses before the home runs, and eventually you just get that home run. If you just keep going and applying for internships, jobs, or entrepreneur, applying for government grants, the more applications you send out, the better it gets. It pretty much. I used to be in a category where I'd take rejection to heart, and I'd get upset with rejection. Uh, I remember at one time I was applying for 30 jobs a day. Then it was just burning me out, and I was thinking, look, I've got to learn to have a life, especially as an entrepreneur, content creator, especially when you're running an online business. You've got to take the time for yourself to, I mean, just relax and just enjoy life. And for me, it's, getting out in nature. It's finding what makes me happy. I like watching MMA, boxing. I think there's a pay-per-view today on Fight TV. I'll leave a link in the description for Fight TV. It was some boxing, Triller. I think it's Trillerverse Fight Club, which would be good. That's what I do. I like to, just yeah, just to be able to find things that you know that's going to take my mind off the crap going on in the world these days. You know that. But yeah, I guess it's just all about consistency at the same time. Consistency, showing up as much as you can, but also learning to take a break too is what you got to do. You got to take a break in life. and not dwell on how many followers you have on Twitter, because clearly there are mental health problems with social media, and that's what it's causing. You know, that is what it's causing. You know, but when you enjoy what you love doing, I think things just fall into place, I'd say. You know, and just not giving up on your dreams, because we have we've all been there. We all work our way from the bottom to the top, pretty much. We all do. It's life. You know, I suppose just get over it. We all start from the bottom before going to the top. And, you know, when I look back on my journey, just say when I started publishing music myself, and all the things I've had to, uh, struggles I've had to overcome, I've really learnt a lot, I guess. And I suppose when you learn a lot from your journey, from what you were put on this earth to be and do, that's the main thing. That's the main goal at the end of the day. And learning from your mistakes too is very important. How we learn from our mistakes is yeah, learning from, you know, what you've done wrong too, as content creators, you know. And that's what it's been like for me. It's been a journey these last 2 years, and look, I look back in, I look back in the lockdown, for instance, that we had this year, and I found that I did use a lot of my time during the lockdown to be productive. And I meant that as in doing my YouTube channel. I was doing something that I loved. And I still do that to this day. You know, I try new things as entrepreneur. I show up. I have discipline, because discipline is key for this business. You know, we need discipline, and we need honesty, integrity, and loyalty as well. Because that's what I mean. There was one saying that, I mean, entrepreneurship can either make you or break you. I mean, that, yes and no. Is it possible that it can do that? Maybe. But it's getting out of your comfort zone. And so, as the solution, because of the issues on cancel culture, silencing people in the media, if you have the, courage to, move on, then yeah, definitely speak up for yourself and keep going as well. And that's important. You know, that's very important. And that's what I believe in. So that's why I look for alternative platforms like Rumble, you know, Odysee, Ultreon, Modern Medium, and it's all about trial and error as well. Trial and error is important. I mean, I guess it's been a journey and a wild ride for me at the same time. But I'm still here and I'm still working. I'm still going. I'm still climbing the mountain. And when you have that vision to climb the mountain, you can do it. You know, you can get there. And that's what it is. Climbing the mountain, Mount Everest, I will make it up there. I'm talking entrepreneurship wise, you know. And I guess it's just about, yeah, believing in yourself at the same time, proving the critics wrong. Look, face it, you'll get a lot of, as you do grow online, you have to develop a thick skin at times. But more importantly, it's just about, yeah, showing up and working hard, you know, working hard at the same time is important. I mean, overcoming the fear of rejection and the fear of failure too is look, we all, as with rejection in this business, we're all going to get rejected. I get millions of rejection before I get the one yes. It's just a part of the game. You just got to develop a thick skin to it. And having a thick skin towards rejection is the best strategy that you can have in the world. It is the best strategy that you can have in the world is developing a thick skin to rejection. You know that? I think there are times where we doubt ourselves too much. We overthink things as well. And we, you know, we tell ourselves sometimes that we can't do it, but when we really can do it as well. You know that? I mean, it's an interesting one too, on how the world is these days. You know, on how you can be the best you that you can be as well. Look, I invite, you know, if anyone wants to share their experience on entrepreneurship, what they're doing, yeah, just let me know where you're tuning in from, or if you just want to stop by and say hi, you're most welcome to on Wisdom, because this is awesome, this platform. This is the best. And like I always say, I always look forward to more updates in the future of Wisdom, as Wisdomers. Always excited for the next update, I think. I mean, because that's what keeps the community on Wisdom growing, is you guys keep Wisdom here on social audio. We clearly saw that, you know, during, you know, the 2 years of the lockdown that we had, yeah, social audio did get very popular, but I don't know what happened to the Spotify Green Room. I remember that took off like crazy, like Clubhouse, but then I don't know where Clubhouse is gonna go, to be honest. These toxic environments where people just want to ridicule each other and, oh, I know everything and you don't, sort of thing. There's no, you know, there's just no community with it. That's what I think. There's just no community anymore. So, you know, that's what I think. You know, at the end of the day, that's what I believe in as well. We need more community as well. That's what I believe. Community does come first in life, and the more community we have, the better our community is. The more social that we can be, the better our lives are. Our life is, you know. And that's what it is, I guess. You know. And yeah, just believing in yourself. You know, I remember I was watching a YouTube video, I think a couple of weeks ago, with a program called Think Media or something, and he was saying that a lot of the top comedians started out. They basically did comedy in an empty room. You know, there were nights where no one would show up, and that's you know. And I look to myself now, and I think, you know, I could say I have it more easier than those guys did because we have all the internet now and social media. The only problem I've had is just not being heard, is my problem. I don't know why. I don't know what's causing me to not be heard on social media or get noticed. What's going on? Uh, that's what I'd like to know. Why is this going on and this happening? You know that. All right, let's see. We've got a guest here waiting. Hello.
Well, good evening or good morning, wherever you may be.
Yes. Good evening. How are you?
I am very well. Yourself this evening?
Yes, good.
So, I didn't catch your whole show. I just kind of just jumped on and I saw the title. So I was kind of interested in the title, "The Power of Media and the Cancel Culture."
Yeah.
Um, But getting to your point of not being heard, I think part of the problem is that there are so many people out there, each trying to
Hmm.
make their mark. And there's such a clutter out there that
Hmm.
it's almost impossible for you to be heard unless you're constantly pounding at it or maybe have some sort of special angle
Hmm.
um, that anyone else does. And I think that's one of the issues. If you're like I do a podcast myself, I mean, if
Hmm.
I'm just one of the kind of routine ones out there, you're not going to get really noticed unless there's some
Hmm.
special angle, something different, or maybe you have some really good marketing. I don't know.
Yeah. I wanted to, Joseph, about marketing. Now, you've heard of Logan Paul, have you? You know, the
Um,
YouTuber.
yes, yes.
My question to you is his stuff is not that great, and yet he is viral. And this is what's pissed me off about, like, you get these YouTubers just uploading crap, and yet they get 18 million subscribers. And when you have talent, you're not getting heard. Is there a reason for that?
I don't know. I think some of it is just generational. You
Hmm.
know, I think a lot of the younger people um, love crap and just think it's probably great and it goes viral.
Mm.
Some of it, I think sometimes they do it, they kind of repost something or push something hoping that they will get noticed too.
Hmm.
Um, but I think it's just a generational thing. And it doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that people of a different generation. Now I am almost 60.
Hmm.
But it doesn't mean that people of a different generation, like when I was in high school and college, there wasn't crap out there either. And there weren't
Mm.
crap performers, but somehow they made it big or they made it viral. I
Mm.
remember um, one person who always was making, again, this was before, a lot of the online media, the Twitter, the Facebook, all of that. It was this
Mm.
one woman who always made it into the page 6 of the New York Post. Page 6 is kind of the kind of celebrity thing. And
Ah, yeah.
why did she make it? And the only reason I think of it is because her mother was a judge and presided over a very controversial case, and she was in the media on page 6 all the time for a couple of months, and then I guess when the page 6 or paparazzi got tired of her, they moved on, and we didn't see her anymore. So I think we have our own type of we had our own type of things in the days, or I'm not sure how old you are, but it's no different. It's just the type of media out there. We had a lot of trash. When you look in the 80s, you look back and you look at, who made it big. In the 70s, I think of when I was a kid, Pet Rocks. I don't know if you remember Pet Rocks.
No, never heard of it.
Oh, Pet Rocks was a phenomenon here in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was is someone sold these very smooth rocks, something that you could hold in your hand. And they sold it in a little cardboard container with like a little straw in it. And it was your pet. So instead of you having a live pet, you had a pet rock. And
Wow.
they were flying off the shelves for about 6 or 7 months and then a year, and then it kind of died on the vine. People got bored of it. It was a novelty item, if you want to call it that. Pet rocks.
Oh.
And yeah, it was kind of, they came in a little container. Think of something like here in the States, a McDonald's Happy Meal container, but smaller, had little holes in it, to mimic like it was an animal type thing, and had a little straw in the back, or it was at least some paper made to look like straw, and it was a pet rock because you never had to worry about feeding it, cleaning it, watering it. It never made noise at all sorts of hours in the morning and night. It was the pet you could take anywhere, anytime, and never worry about it. So, just my rambling on, I think it's just we had lots of crap. It's just we see it in different ways, and it becomes viral for a while until people get bored of it, and then they kind of move along to someone else.
Gary Dole, I think. Is that correct? Who invented it? Pet rock.
It could be. I don't remember. I just remember seeing it as a kid and saying, I don't understand. Why the hell would anybody pay $2, $3, $4 for a pet rock? I don't understand. Because I didn't have a lot of money then as a kid.
I just looked it up on Amazon. It's about $90 for it on Amazon.
For an original pet rock. Well, then people at my age would get one because it's a nostalgia thing.
But going back to about too many people on YouTube, I think that is possible. But how can you go viral these days?
Yeah, I don't know. You have to do something outrageous, something stupid, have just that special knack. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Sometimes you're just in. Sometimes that old saying of you're in the right place at the right time.
And what about your podcast, Joseph? How's your subscriber count going? Are you a small, or are you hitting viral yet?
Oh no, I'm very, very small. Mine is a very traditional type of podcast. It's called Foolish Thoughts, and it's about training and learning, which that is my business. I conduct classroom and webinars and design learning and training programs, and it talks about business and consulting. I don't have a lot of followers, but I do it, to be honest with you, because it keeps my mind sharp. It forces me to read. It forces me to write. It forces me to do that sort of stuff to keep your mind sharp. So I just have 250 episodes. Not that I got thousands of listeners. Maybe I have 20 or 30 subscribers, and people kind of jump on and listen and then jump off. And they're very short, 3 minutes each. I don't do any editing. Sometimes I call myself here in the state, call myself sometimes the Tom Carvel of podcasting. And Tom Carvel here in the States was a man who had a chain of ice cream shops,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the New York City area. And his television commercials were some of the worst television commercials that you can imagine. In fact, I was told that his were the mic and a tape recorder. This was the late 60s, early 70s. And he would just record them live and he would just do them. They've actually become kind of classics for people who like that sort of niche type of thing. But I just go out and do it. Part of it is because I like to do it. It forces me also to observe everyday life in business. You know, what's going on, what I see right, what I see doing wrong. Where are the mistakes that I've made? Where are the mistakes that other people have made? And um, I just write them and observe them. Sometimes I share them with people, and then I'll get a nice bump. I'll get maybe 60 or 70 people listening to something because I share it, a particular one. But I do it not for the money. There's no money. I make no money off of it. I do it because I like it.
That's fair enough. Let's speak about Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, his old episodes, he used to just talk a lot of crap. But now he's
Mm-hmm.
sold it 100 million, I think he got from Spotify. Now, how did he do that, in your opinion, to get so big like that in the
Well,
podcast world?
I think some of it is being controversial.
Hmm.
Controversial, saying certain things. People
Hmm.
kind of pick up on it. Sponsors pick up on it.
Hmm.
you know and he also has a team that helps him, unlike maybe you or me, like you and I sitting here doing this together.
Hmm.
um he has a team, he has sponsors. When you get sponsors, you get money, you get
Hmm.
editors, you get classy stuff, you get better equipment, you get all that sort of stuff. And you then get to invite people on who help make that controversy, make that cutting edge, um,
Hmm.
kind of thing, and can say things that most people know that if you and I say it, we'd probably be destroyed business wise.
Mm.
So I think that's my opinion. I could be totally wrong on it, but that's just kind of my take with a lot of them. And or sometimes they're saying something that a lot of people are thinking, but no one is saying out loud.
Yeah.
Here in the States, we had a guy on the radio for 30 years, Rush Limbaugh. And you may
Oh,
or may
yes.
not have, yes. But a guy like him, there were many, many people who were saying, "You're saying what I'm thinking, and nobody else is saying it." And he was cutting edge at the time in the area of talk radio, because talk radio here in the States at the time he came on in the late 80s was
Hmm.
kind of dying. I mean, there was talk
Hmm.
radio, there were various shows, but he caught fire because he was saying things that a lot of people thought were thinking, but were too scared to say.
Mm.
And that's part of, I think, where he broke out, and people
Hmm.
started hearing and listening to him. They're like, oh, this guy is great. I agree with him. He's somebody saying what I'm thinking.
Mm. Mm.
And made a name for himself and made a very good living for himself.
Yeah, so I've heard of Rush Limbaugh, but he's a bit too old for me.
And,
Um,
and he also passed away last year, about a year and a half ago. Um,
oh,
oh
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
yes. He passed away. He had a stage 4 cancer, lung cancer, I believe it was,
Hmm.
um, and he died last year. I believe it was in February or March. I have to look it up. February, March of last year.
Hmm.
Um, but he had some other health issues too, such as losing his hearing. He lost his hearing, and
Hmm.
so he had those implants. Kind of look like something out of Star Trek in his ear, in his head, the side of his head. Um,
Oh, yes.
but but yeah, he made a great living, whether you agreed with him or not. And a lot of people didn't agree with him. A lot of people did. He tapped into something that a lot of people were not saying out loud, and he
Hmm.
was not scared to say it, and he made a living. But he was also a man who failed at a number of things. Like, he got fired twice from jobs.
Mhm.
He used to work for, I think it was the Kansas City, was it the Kansas City baseball team, and another place he got fired from because he just
Mhm.
wasn't cutting it.
Mhm.
So he experienced failure too in business and in life.
Mhm.
Um, and no one could quite match him. You know, they had others who came up against his politics, and not one could ever really match him. He just had, and I think part of it was he had fun doing it. He
Mhm.
had fun doing it, and that made the difference as opposed to people who may have been angry all the time. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of rambling on here. I'm sorry.
No, this is good. Did Rush work for a network, or was it just his own show?
So originally it was his own show on Sacramento in California. That's where he started. And
Mhm.
then, if I remember correctly, moved out to New York to WABC 77. That was the call sign. And
Mhm.
770 something. I think it was 770. I'm sorry, 770. And then from there, he eventually got syndicated, had his own show.
Mhm.
Um, Became syndicated on hundreds of radio stations. He was on for I think an hour a day, even on the U.S. Armed Forces radio, which broadcasts lots of different things, you know,
Mhm.
for the U.S. servicemen and women. And then, in fact, the way he used to work it was from if the way he explained it was he had a very very small amount of time for advertisement, and the rest of
Mhm.
the advertisement was all for the radio stations, the local radio stations. But of course, they paid him a fee, and he only
Mhm.
had a small amount of that. Then he also had a newsletter. There was T-shirts and hats and other little knickknacks that were sold, um,
Mhm.
type things. So he made money that way. But you know, he made his money by through licensing syndication to hundreds of radio stations across the country.
Mhm. Wow.
I mean,
There's
he had,
another. You heard of Alex Jones, have you?
yes, yes.
Now, I've been watching the trial about it was the Sandy Hook massacre in 2012. He made comments about that. Uh, this is the problem is he's being sued, but I don't know how this is going to turn out, to be honest.
So he supposedly has lost. He owes $1 billion to the family. He lost the lawsuit and owes $1 billion.
Hmm.
Um, you know, I guess the question is, can they ever collect that much? Probably never.
Hmm.
You know, so that's going to be an issue. But yeah, they won. Um,
Hmm.
and but how are they ever going to collect $1 billion from him?
Mm.
Even if he made $1 million, even if he made $10 million a year. I mean, he's in his probably 50s, I think. I'm guessing.
Hmm.
You know, even if he worked for another 20 years and they took every penny from him, they'll never get that money, other than maybe the satisfaction of bankrupting him and um, saying that he owes us this money.
Oh, he's had to file for bankruptcy, I think.
Yes, yes, he did. He did file for bankruptcy. You're correct.
Now, in show business, I don't understand how they were able to sue him for that if he was just expressing his views. What did he do wrong?
Well, I guess he just kept harping. I guess I didn't. I'll be honest. I did not follow the trial. I did not follow all of it. But I guess
Hmm.
because he kept saying it was a fake, it was fake, it was made up, all of that sort of
Hmm.
stuff. The family sued him, I guess,
Hmm.
for pain and suffering because of
Hmm.
it. That's, I guess, there's probably someone out there in your audience listening
Hmm.
probably knows much more than I do.
Hmm.
And because of that, they won because he said a variety of things that it's made up, made up, made up,
Hmm.
fake. The whole thing is fake, made up. That's probably how they won.
He's been on Joe Rogan a couple of times,
Hmm.
Alex Jones, but I don't know. The problem is with the right wing conspiracy theorists that they can spread too much misinformation, and he's been banned from Twitter and
Hmm.
most of the social media platforms out there. I don't know where his career is going to be after this.
Well, that's it. It probably will not have a career, but he may
Mhm.
be able to get, probably be able to make some money and stuff like that, but not really have the career that he maybe had 6, 7 years ago, the following he had 6, 7 years ago.
Mm. Yeah, this is show business.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know he's speaking up against the whole freedom of speech in the United States, but not spreading false information and hate speech. I know cancel culture is very bad in the US.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now
Have
you're
you
from you're from
Australia?
down, yeah, down under, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Cancel culture is very bad here.
Hmm.
You know, very, very bad, and I think it's gotten worse
Hmm.
over the years. It's gotten much worse.
Hmm.
Um, even if you say I believe because of religious belief that this is wrong,
Hmm.
they will go after you.
Mm. I've noticed this in the NFL as well. They are starting to get politics in the National Football League. They're trying that in Aussie rules, but
Hmm.
if they keep doing that, people are just going to stop watching.
Well, I think the NFL a couple of years ago, it started with this guy Colin Kaepernick taking a knee and kind of
Mm.
spread. And I'll say, I stopped watching football. I used to follow football, NFL
Hmm.
football, and I stopped. Why did I stop? My philosophy is I am paying to go to a game or watching on TV or buying your product for you to
Mm.
play. It's entertainment.
Hmm.
I put food on your table by my spending my time watching it on TV, by my
Hmm.
buying your product. I am putting food on your table. I'm not putting money out to hear your politics. You
Hmm.
want to hear politics? That's fine. You lose me as a client, and they've
Hmm.
lost me as a client. That's my philosophy. Um, so if you want to do the politics, you go ahead, but I don't have to watch your show. I'll just walk away, and that's what I did.
Yeah,
I walked away from the NFL.
there's
But down,
the
go ahead.
Canadian Football League as well. I've heard that's pretty good in Canada.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just I don't understand why sport now is trying to get all politically correct. They're trying that in Australia too.
Hmm. Well,
Uh,
here, there's someone I've sort of followed here because I thought it was kind of interesting. Is this guy called the Aussie Cossack?
mhm,
And I'm not sure I'm assuming you know about him.
mhm,
And I found it kind of interesting, although I think he's going a bit off the rails with the whole Russia Ukraine thing. But I
mhm,
thought it was very interesting to see him standing up to law enforcement and to others during the whole lockdown.
mm.
I'd be interested in your take on it.
Yeah, I have to look into it.
Oh.
I mean, I'll tell you about the lockdown in Melbourne, Australia.
Hmm.
The Daniel Andrews was getting police to use rubber bullets against protesters who
Yeah,
were protesting against the lockdown.
I saw the videos on it.
And then you think about why would Melbourne, Australia want to become like the new world order?
Hmm.
Uh, was it like that in the US?
No, I think there might have been there were some places, I don't think as bad. There
Mm.
were some places, you'd see these videos of store owners being given a lot of crap by police because someone ate in front of their store when they shouldn't have eaten.
Oh my
Um,
God.
but there were some bad things here in the U.S. Lots of businesses went under, lots of businesses suffered, just
Mm.
barely, um, just barely making by. Like a crazy rule here where I lived is, for example, you could not do takeout from a restaurant after 10 o'clock. And I would say to
Mm.
people, That's kind of stupid. You mean suddenly after 10 o'clock, the disease knows that
Mm,
you're going to be coming out and we're going to get you after 10 o'clock? It waits until 10 o'clock. I
mm,
mean, kind of crazy stuff like that. Um, you see this periodically in places. Um, but there was a lot of very heavy-handed government. Like if you had a church, you couldn't
mhm,
open your church many times. Even if you had a
mm,
church, like for example, here in Washington D.C., we have a Catholic church has a cathedral here. It holds something like, I don't know, 6,000-7,000 people. But the
mhm,
local government wouldn't let them put more than 100 people in on a Sunday.
mhm,
So you had these huge spaces, 100 people. And I kind
mhm,
of said, that's kind of silly now. You got a large space, you can easily put in 300 or 400 people, very spread out. But
mhm.
no, we can only have 100 people. And if you were the 101st person, you got cut out. Sorry, you can't go in. So there was some of that craziness here.
Mhm.
People say I'm crazy for saying that, but um, it is what it is.
So you're in Washington D.C., is that correct?
That is correct. I am outside of Washington, D.C. I am just north of the White House by about
Mhm,
11 miles. I'm at a place called Silver Spring, Maryland, which is a suburb
mhm,
of Washington, D.C.
mhm. Yeah, that's crazy. That's really crazy. You mentioned
Or
too about
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
about
sorry.
the page 6 of the New York Post.
Hmm.
Oh, look, I read the New York Post, but I find there's a lot of celebrity gossip in there.
Yeah, yeah. When I was growing up in New York, the Post was considered probably the third newspaper in like seriousness. I mean, the Post was great for sports. If you love sports, when
Hmm.
I was a kid, the New York Post was great. But it's now kind of moved up. They actually do. There's a lot more serious stuff, even though it's considered not a newspaper because of how it's done. It's considered many times by many more a tabloid, I guess, in the
Hmm.
newspaper industry. It actually has done over the last 10, 15 years, I'd say a lot more very, very serious stuff. Very,
Hmm.
very serious journalism, very, very serious investigative stuff, much more than what the other newspaper was, the New York Daily News. Of course, there was the Times, the News, there
Hmm.
was the Post, and then there was Newsweek, which was the paper just outside of New York City on Long Island. But I think
Hmm.
the Post has really kind of moved up on a lot of investigative reporting, a lot of much more serious journalism than maybe 40 years ago, 50 years ago.
Hmm. Yeah, look, I do read the New York Post. I'll have a flick through it, but they do have a lot of sport reporting.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
their
Mhm. Yeah.
politics reporting's not the best. Uh, and there's so much advertising on their website.
Mm, mm, true.
Unless you
Hey, that's how they make. Yeah, they got to make a living somehow, I guess.
unless you pay for their Sports Plus subscription for
Yeah.
$5 a month.
Yeah.
But are you a newspaper reader or you reading digital?
I'm doing it digitally now. Um,
Yep.
I like the Post because I grew up in New York City, and
Hmm.
it's kind of interesting to see some of the things that happened,
Hmm.
that have had things that have happened to the city, places, etc. So I kind of it helps me keep somewhat connected to what I still have relatives who live in New York City, so it allows me to keep a little bit connected with them.
Yeah, that's owned by Rupert Murdoch.
Hmm. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
um, that's journalism. What other right-wing newspapers are in Washington if people don't
So
want to
there,
read the New York Post?
there's the Examiner,
Yeah.
the Washington Examiner, um, which isn't doesn't have celebrity stuff and that sort of stuff. You really don't see that. It's much more. They're more shorter articles on things, opinion pieces, that sort of stuff. But you don't see a lot of sports or celebrity stuff,
Hmm.
as opposed to the Washington Post, which of course is much more left wing,
Mhm.
Like the New York Times.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Joseph, 2 minutes left. Anyone can find you on social media,
You
or
can
where can they
find me.
find your podcast as well?
Yes, you can find me on all of the major podcast channels like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, as well as a number of smaller ones. Um,
Hmm.
you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. My company is called A Fool for Learning. So, yeah, you can find my podcast. They're short, usually about 3 minutes in length on
Hmm.
average. Nothing fancy, just I kind of put my thoughts out there on
No,
business
that's
and
good.
training and learning.
I really want to thank you for being on the show today as
Oh,
well.
thank you, Stephen.
Feel free to stop by again.
I will do that. Thank you. And next time I'm going to ask you a lot more questions about down with things happening down under.
Wait, that'll be good. Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you, Stephen. Have a great day.
Bye. All right, it's always great to have guests come on the Stephen Shields radio show. I'm going to wrap up the show right now, but I'd like to say thank you to all my listeners who on Wisdom who just stopped by. Even if you just want to stop by and say hi, you're most welcome to do that. It's always great to have a chat and express our opinions in a safe environment as well. Don't forget, please like, share, and subscribe to the Stephen Shields radio show. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a new episode every Friday at 6 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. I've got my new album out called Dead Man Walking. That's on Spotify, Bandcamp as well. You can find me on YouTube, Shields Productions. I'm on Rumble, Odysee, and Ultreon. I wish everyone all the best. Bye for now.